Hi, you made it. You're watching. This is a great start. I know it's a little odd to watch a stranger from the internet talk about ways to reclaim your life, but I'm going to imagine there's a reason you signed up. There's a reason you plugged your little earbuds in and are listening right now. Something in your world is off. You're not happy. You got to that pinnacle of, I did everything right and this is all there is. You're trying desperately to make change happen, but nothing's sticking. I get emails, I don't know, every other week at least, about a woman in a very similar position to you who has stumbled across Stratejoy on the internet and is saying, thank God there is a place where we can talk about this. There's nothing wrong with feeling lost. There's nothing wrong with feeling like you made wrong choices. There's nothing wrong with resenting your very beautiful and privileged life. You know what's wrong with this picture is staying there, saying, this must be how it is. I can tell you without a doubt that that is not true. I'm Molly Mahar. This is my work from home office. I'm coming to you not live, recorded from San Luis Obispo, California. I've been running this community for 10 years now. Over 10 years. I've got 2 little kids who are finally both in the same school with the same drop-off. And this is my life's work. Helping women come home to themselves. And I have done it in all sorts of different ways. But there have been themes in everything that I've learned over the last 10 years. I tend to work with pretty ambitious, high-achieving women who have hit some sort of transition, whether that's external, right? New mamahood, new empty nest, new career, new location, or internal change, right? A version of existential crisis of what am I really here for? Is this all there is? And I know there is so many things going on in our world that deserve our time and attention. And I want to tell you, I'm proud of you for including yourself on that list. Saying, hey, I'm going to take these 25 minutes to do a little inner world check-in. I'm going to listen to this random lady on the internet with her bright pink lipstick talk about life and see what 4 secrets she has to give. Yeah, apologies in advance for the marketing language. These are not secrets. These are 4 things I know to be true that I want to share with you that hopefully will give you some starting points of what you might need to make sustainable change, to start experiencing that forward momentum, right? That helps fuel the hard things that we need to do in our lives. When we start telling the truth to ourselves about how we really feel, there are sometimes changes, negotiations, boundaries, things that we have to start doing that are radically uncomfortable. And that's okay. You're going to be okay. But I'm going to guess you're here because you need a little help. You need a little inspiration. Maybe you need some practical application of things that you can do to really reclaim your life. Yes, 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 and yes, and yes. There are. I want to read this tiny little introduction to the idea of reclamation. This is where I'm coming from. This is what I believe in. And then we'll start breaking down the 4 things that are really going to help you. You are born free, wild, open, curious, utterly yourself, and beautifully whole. Yet very few of us keep that wholeness as we pass through the journey of our lives. You learn how to please for safety or validation. You learn how to perform for inclusion or gold stars. You learn how to harden yourself to others' judgment and society's critique of your messy body and your beginner's navigation of companionship and sex, care of self and independence, competition in workplace politics, parenting, and love. All that pleasing and performing and hardening takes you further away from the woman who knows she has everything she needs within her. So what if you could go back to that wholeness? What if you could find room for yourself, your true self, in the life that you've created? What kind of freedom might you experience if you reconnected to your truth, refocused your efforts, and reclaimed your life? Let's find out. Welcome to this path of the reclaimed woman. It is not for the faint of heart. It is also not for those who are easily offended by swearing, because I tend to drop some F-bombs. Not safe for work or for small children. I'll try to contain myself in this training though, since it's probably your first introduction to me. Hi. All right, let's get into the juicy stuff. What are these 4 secrets, Molly? Tell me. First of all, please, if you can, grab your journal, a notebook, the back of your grocery list, and spend some time reflecting. Right? This is useful if you take what I have to say and put it through your own lens, because you are the queen of your life, right? Put that crown on. Your agency, your sovereignty is yours. This flows through all the work that I do. I may be a guide, right? Someone offering some hard-earned wisdom, someone watching for the through lines and the themes of the work I do with women and sharing them with you, someone who asks hard questions. I'm the guide, but you are the boss. This is your life, your choices, your joy. So listen, reflect. You can agree, you can be triggered and totally disagree. You could wonder how that works in your life, but don't just do it all up here. Grab a piece of paper. Listen to yourself. You are so very wise. You've got answers, you've got reactions, you've got reflections that are true for you, and I want to make sure you're capturing them. So yeah, seriously, go grab a piece of paper and a pen. Okay, and settle back in. First thing that I see people doing wrong, that I know there is space to do correctly, is we set off to change our lives in whatever fashion we imagine that we want. Go back to school, change our jobs, leave our partner, find a partner, add to the list, ... But we do so without having any structure. I am someone who values freedom greatly. I can be a spontaneous, ridiculous person, but the strongest theme in my life that helps me stay on top of things and organize is structure. Some way of going through this work. And when you're really starting to mine yourself for answers, when you are drawing your attention to your inner world, right? When you're sitting in that year of unrest going, I don't know what it is I want, but I want something. I don't know what it is I want, but it's not this. Great. Instead of getting stuck in that mind spiral that maybe is leading you off old paths, old beliefs, childhood, family origin stuff, right? If you've done therapy, you know a lot of these paths. How do we go forward? How do we take where we are, who we are, and what we know to be true about ourselves, and really return to that idea of wholeness? You need some sort of structure. It could be a breathtaking book. It could be a program. It could be couples counseling with your partner. It could be therapy for yourself. It could be, maybe it is a master's program or a doctorate program. There are so many things that will help you understand what you need to do next. It could be Oprah's reading list, for that matter. I want you to find something and pick something that allows you to think about your own life. We're not necessarily adding a new skill. We're not taking a class to learn something. We are committing to structure so that we can go inward. And this is what I do for a living. I get to create the structures. So yes, I have a million you can look at, but so do amazing other people out there. What I ask is you find something that resonates with you, where you get that little tickle, the butterfly feeling of, ooh, this seems scary, but also right. And I want you to commit to it, right? Nothing works unless you work it. You have to be the one who shows up to this structure and says, I am willing to spend some of my personal resources, time, energy, love, attention, money, going inward for myself, right? Find the curriculum, find the steps, find the things that are going to give you enough direction so you know what to do. to take this journey of reclaiming yourself. Structure. Secret number 1. Secret number 2. Dun, 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 practice. I know, who's rolling their eyes out there at me? I know, these are not sexy secrets. I don't have like the magical mantra that's going to attract all the things you want in your life. Someone else might try to sell you that, and they might have it. It's not what I have. I have practical applications of life skills that make a difference when you do them. So this is so important to me. And there's lots of different ways I do this in my business, I do this in my own life. But anytime we're trying to do something new, we have to understand that it's going to require practice. Right? We have to find safe places to be beginners. We have to know that when we want to do something new in our lives, whether that is what we're doing to fight climate change in our own homes, whether that is going down a new path of career, whether that is saying, I think I want to be a mama. Oh my God, I have no idea what that means. But you're not going to be automatically amazing at it. This is the difference between having the fixed mindset and a growth mindset. Right? If you were someone who things naturally, came to you, you might have gotten stuck in this fixed mindset, as Carol Dweck explains so wonderfully in her book Mindset, where you forget that things take effort. And you judge yourself if it doesn't come easy to you, it's not worth doing. Like, I don't want to work hard. I shouldn't have to work hard. Wrong. Working hard doesn't mean slaving away and hustling till you're exhausted. But working hard means that you understand good things in life come through some persistence, come through some grit, come through some practice. And the thing I see that people get stuck in a lot, especially women who are used to pleasing and overachieving and, coming from that slant of life, is we don't want to fail. We don't want to have you see us fail. And so finding a place to do that where it is okay, in fact, it is encouraged, necessary to growth. There are gyms out there that are so good at this. There are groups of friends out there that are so good at this, that say, I see your effort and I'm applauding that. That end result, it's going to be what it's going to be. You may be able to control pieces of it, and probably lots of those pieces are way outside of your control. But I see you committed to the practice. I see you taking a piece of inspiration, taking something you learned from that structure and saying, I wonder how this works in my life. And then you experiment with it. Take note of what happens. Maybe it's a new morning routine. Maybe it's a new stir-fry meal for those quick nights when your kids are clawing on your legs. Maybe it's sending a really scary email to someone you want to collaborate with, or a book agent that you want to represent you, or the hiring manager at the company that you're dying to work for. Right? It takes practice to make those tasks, those experiments easier. You have to keep doing them. We talk about this a lot in my long-term program, that it's an online program, so these women are generally virtual strangers to each other. So we practice doing things that are important to us, that we're learning, like getting really deep really fast, like sharing the details of our lives, understanding that that is a vulnerable position to be in, because probably we have all experienced judgment or shame for being who we really are. Sucks that it happens, but it definitely does. So in order to practice these skills, we create this really safe space where we lead with love, where we understand that half of our experiments are going to fail and half of them will succeed, and that we are applauding the effort. Right? I mean, throw in any cliche, babies learning to walk, 7th graders learning how to shoot free throws, right? There's tons of sports analogies on this idea of grit. And I want to offer that to you in your life, that it's okay to practice. It's okay to fumble through the first conversation you have with your partner about renegotiating some of the emotional labor in your household. It's okay to fumble the first conversation you have with your new boss about expectations of when you need to be on your email or not. The way that you get better is by doing it. Practice, 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 practice. And when you have safe little bubbles of places to practice, right? Good friends that are going to hear you practice that speech, online communities that are going to witness like what the plan is, have this really hard conversation with your sister-in-law. It allows you to grow more comfortable with your own bravery, your own ability to take action when the outcome is uncertain. So, practice. Here are some things that we practice a lot in the Stratejoy, right? These are examples. It says, a lot of our work are training years. They're ways to practice things that you know in theory, like self-love, setting boundaries, advocating for yourself, listening to intuition, focusing on just the next right step, a la Glennon, or fill in the blank. So you know these things theoretically, but you don't actually apply them into your life. Like if you truly love yourself, how does that shake out in your self-talk in the mirror, the advocating you do for your own pleasure in the bedroom, the raises you negotiate at work? If you truly listen to your intuition, how do you handle holidays with toxic family members, or daily yearnings to find a new job when you are in debt, or attending church when your religious background doesn't jive with your current beliefs? These are the kinds of things that practice helps with, right? It's one thing to know it in theory. It is another thing to practice it in your life, okay? That is my second secret tip to reclaiming your life, to making sure this existence, right, this life on earth is the most integrated, authentic, connected one it can be. Third trick, expansion. All right, what do I mean by expansion? I think this is one of those things that we forget when we feel really stuck in our lives. We forget that there's other ways to do it. Right? We get really stuck in the shoulds and these, it's just the way it is. And everyone else in my neighborhood, in my culture, at my workplace operates like this. And so I have to, even when that doesn't feel right for you. Even when your own authenticity or your own alignment is screaming that this is wrong, wrong, wrong. Expansion is knowing there are other possibilities. There are other ways to do this, and expansion can come in so many forms. It could be an incredible book. It could be a conversation with a stranger at the bus stop. It could be in a networking group or a sisterhood circle, or joining your local women's entrepreneur group, even though you just have the tiniest idea of what you want to do, right? Because when you see what's possible, when you see how other people have done it, it gets easier to start imagining it for yourself. And one of the things that happens is we get stuck in our bubbles, right? Our little echo chambers. And we forget that there's other ways to do things. There's other ways to dress. There's other ways to decide how your sexual life is going to work in your marriage. There's other ways how to make your money. There's other ways of doing Christmas. Whatever thing you feel a little out of alignment with. And opening yourself up to those possibilities. It could be as simple as curating your Instagram feed so it is full of people who are like wildly outside your comfort zone, but are modeling something you're craving. Right? Whether that's being in tune with their own sexuality, whether that's talking about money on the 7 and 8 figure scale, whether that is showing up live, wrinkles and acne and freckles and ashy skin and all, whatever it is that you're like so scared to do. We can put ourselves deliberately into opportunities for expansion. And yes, it can be uncomfortable. And yes, it can be triggering. And yes, you can disagree with some of these roads that all of a sudden you're like, whoa, people do that? Oh, moving to California was a lesson in expansion for me. Oh, all right. We don't wear deodorant here. Okay. Just kidding, but not really. At least the small town I live in. So when you are feeling at odds with your life, or the boundaries or the shoulds operating in your world, sometimes it helps to go travel, to find a new group, to read a book, a memoir that's outside your realm of experience, to understand the way you think things have to be done aren't necessarily the way things have to be done. Right? In order to really experience change, you need to understand what's on the menu. Right? What's that mind blown emoji? Put that one in. You still get to decide what you want to experiment with, what you want to practice, what you want to try on, but you need to know what's out there. Last piece, fourth secret. Right, so we've done structure, practice, expansion, sisterhood. Or if you happen to be a man watching this, hi, how did you get here? Brotherhood. But we're going to go with sisterhood in this realm of Stratejoy, which is a lady space, women's space, anyone who identifies as a woman with an X space. Sisterhood. Sisterhood to me, and this is my video, so I guess I don't even need to say that. Sisterhood is places where you are safe. It is chosen communities that support you in your growth. It is not always rah, go girl, you got this, let's affirm the shit out of each other. It can be that. But true sisterhood asks witnessing, to simply let you show up as you are, to offer spaces for other people to show up, to be seen fully, all of the things, all of the juxtapositions, right? All those contradictions in ourself. Sisterhood is not a place where you need to only present this one-dimensional or one-side way that you are to belong. Sisterhood is saying, I see you in all your human messiness, and you are safe to show up here, whether you are feeling high or low, whether you are depressed or you are on cloud 9, whether you're spinning out in anxious circles about a stressor in your life, or you just landed the biggest deal of your career. Like, all of you is safe here. And our job as sisters to each other is, yes, to witness and listen, and to reflect back to our sister her own highest goals for her life, her own vision of what a world that she wants to live in looks like. Right? We need people who can help us hold space for that vision that we have in our lives. And sometimes our closest people to us, our partners or our parents or our children, can do this for us, our best friend. But sometimes they are so close to us that they forget to hold us accountable to a different level of showing up. Right? How we act at 7 a.m. before we've had coffee clouds their ability to say, hey, you know what you told me? Remember that I want to live in a world where love leads, or truth-telling is valued, or getting uncomfortable is just part of how it is. They're going to forget some of that high-level stuff. But when I talk about sisterhood, I'm talking about a community that's dedicated to holding that big space for people. Letting them get messy and practice and fail and be a beginner, but also reminding you why you're doing what you're doing. And this feels so hard. I know when you're stuck in that space of, I'm trying so hard to make change and none of it's working. Having a sisterhood where you can come and celebrate, where you can come and commiserate, where you can contemplate. It's my favorite step of these because it's the one that feels most wonderful. To know I have safe places to go to say, I don't know what I did wrong, or I don't know how to proceed, or it's all coming together, and that can be seen and heard, and it reminds me I am never alone. And I want you to hear that. You are never alone. How you feel, that wild thing that happened, that horrible piece of your childhood that it's too big to even say out loud dream you have, you are not the only person who has ever felt that way or gone through it. And I think that is one of the other greatest gifts of sisterhood. Is as scary or alone as that feeling may make you feel, to say it out loud, to let someone else plus one you, which is Stratejoy language for me too. Oh, that feels good. I mean, how much have we seen that in our society, saying these things that people have avoided because they're tragic and horrible, and we don't want to be judged about something that happened to us in our past, a sexual assault, or something that happened to us in our family. That Me Too, these visibility days, like that is our society functioning as sisters. And this is one of those secrets that you may think is impossible for you. It's not. There are sisterhoods operating in every realm, in every city, in every online space, in every neighborhood. And if there's not, you can be the one who brings it, who starts it. I wish that for you. I truly do. And if you've listened to these last 26 minutes and you're like, yeah, great. You're allowed to feel however you want to feel about this video. But I challenge you to sit down and to think about these 4 secrets, these 4 things, these 4 components: structure, practice, sisterhood, expansion, sisterhood, if you want to keep in order. And what does this mean for me in my quest to make things happen? In my quest to figure out who I am right now in my life? In my quest to reclaim my joy? Take some notes. And then as you'll see on the bottom of this page, I am challenging you to experiment with something. I am a very action-oriented coach. I want you to get out there and practice. I want you to try. So make one commitment. There's a bunch of ideas. I'd be happy to witness yours on social media. There's a million places here in Stratejoy land that you can do this. And if you are like, yes, I want all 4 of those and I want all 4 of those now, then put your name on the waitlist for Reclamation. It's my signature program. It's the 10-month program. It's the whole enchilada of what I teach and where we gather and where I show up to be in sisterhood with you. There are so many other ways, but if you're looking for my particular flavor, Reclamation is where it is at. Regardless of what you do now, if your papers are falling on the ground at the very end of your video, I believe in you. I want this life of joy for you. And I want you to honor that feeling, that craving, that desire, the reason you gave me your email address to come watch this video. I want you to honor that with action. And I have this little quote from Emily McDowell that I want to read to send us off. And there's also some bonus goodies. If you are a journaler or a writer like I am, this is one of the ways that I really stay connected to my inner world. There are 40 journal prompts for you on the 10 different themes that we cover in Stratejoy land. And there's also what we call the 21 life skills of the reclaimed woman. And these are things that I've created with my community that we want to have access to in our lives. Here's 21 ways of living the kind of lives that we imagine. Here's ways to help us say, hey, am I doing this? Am I believing in magic? Am I moving forward through love? Am I being a critical consumer? Anyways, there's 21 of them. I explain them. There's ways to take notes and see how you're doing on the list. But here, let me read us out with this Emily McDowell quote. She says, finding yourself is not really how it works. You aren't a $10 bill in last winter's coat pocket. You are also not lost. Your true self is right there, buried under cultural conditioning, other people's opinions, and inaccurate conclusions you drew as a kid that became your beliefs about who you are. Finding yourself is actually returning to yourself, an unlearning, an excavation, a remembering who you were before the world got its hands on you. And I love this idea, right? This reclamation of your wholeness, of rightness in your world. I wish it for you. I wish it for me. I wish it for us all. Thanks for watching. Don't be a stranger. I'll see you out on the internet.